Michelle Shelton here. Yesterday I did a video and I talked about programs and I talked about your winning formulas. And if you didn't see that, I would encourage you to watch that video. Programming is it runs so deep. And whenever I would start coaching people, you have to dig into those and kind of get the story, because we all tell this story around, well, I was I grew up this way and my father was this way and my siblings did this and my mom did this, and we have this story that supports why we are the way we are today. And I would encourage you to kind of play with that story and mix it up and create a new story, because in reality, it's all made up anyway. So if you get to be in charge of making it up, why not just make it be the way you want it? Because we get so attached to our stories. No, you don't understand. I'm this way and I'm locked into this because of this event in my life. And it really doesn't need to be that way. That's your programs at work. You see people arguing for their limitations, and as long as you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. Nobody's going to fight for you very long. You have to figure it out on your own. I made a couple of notes just because I wanted to stay on track. So you might say, okay, Michelle, I get it. I have these programs, I have this story, but you don't understand. This is the way it is. Again, that's arguing for limitations. Whenever you're doing work on your mindset, you have to start with an open mind. You have to start with giving up judgments and beliefs. And that's very difficult. Our whole culture is based on beliefs, and we have these, I'm going to call them islands of beliefs. We might believe this when we're a teenager, and then we jump over to another island, and then we fully embrace this belief, and then we jump over to this island and we fully embrace this, and we will fight to the death for this belief. And if you're locked into that and you're not willing to look at anything, this won't work for you. Basically, you've got what you've got, and that's the best it's ever going to get. Because if you aren't willing to challenge your own beliefs, nobody else is going to fight for you. You have to do it yourself. If you don't like the results in your life, you're going to have to challenge your own beliefs, take a look at them, and start seeking out feedback. That's what coaching is. Coaching is getting feedback from somebody who can see the things that you're doing in your life and the results that you're getting, and they can give you that feedback in a way that is, well, maybe it's not in a great positive way, but if you trust them that they're for you, then you're going to get that feedback and really take a look at it. There's so many, the mind is absolutely magical. And I can tell you from experience that I had a coach one time, and he said, support shows up for where you're at. So let that sink in. Support shows up for where you're at. And what that means really is I've coached people in the past, and I had one gal in particular, and I gave her some information of what I saw her doing in her life. And she didn't like it, and she didn't want to own it. She didn't want to wear it. She didn't want to look at it. And she went to her friends and her family and said, my coach said this. I don't see it. Do you? And they said, oh no, that isn't you at all. And so she got the support she needed, and she came back to me and said, this isn't true. I don't do this. It's not that behavior. And I said, okay, well, all right. So what are we working on today? Because at some point, if people aren't willing to challenge their own belief systems and their own mindset, you're not going to get through as a coach. So, and I'm a pretty strong coach. Like, I can go up, we went back and forth with that for quite some time, and it kept coming up. And it's like your programs are like, remember whack-a-mole? You go to the fair and it's like, bam, and you hit the mole down in the hole, and then he pops up somewhere else. That's what your programs are like. You think, whoa, I've dealt with my programs, and now I am ready to go on, and I am You might even say, I'm a spiritual person, or I am a well-rounded person now. I have arrived. It doesn't work that way. It's a lifetime process of challenging your mindset because those programs are deep rooted. They are they are running the shit out of your life. So that's the truth of it. And if you don't like some of the things in your life, it could be in relationships, it could be work. You might say, you don't understand, I'm a shy person, or I'm just a passive person. Really? Okay. So that's why you don't have the things in your life that you want. Or you know what? You don't understand. I grew up in a very angry household. Really? So you want to be a bully and that's working for you? Yeah, it'll work, but is it really working? You might be getting the things that you want, but nobody likes you. You're an asshole. So, there's things that people do, or there's sickness. And this is a big one. People have sickness, and I can tell you that was mine. That was one of my big programs. And it's a long story. If we ever do coaching, I will be happy to share it with you. But sickness is a hard one because people say, how dare you say that I'm making this sickness up? It isn't that the sickness isn't real. It's that your mind is super powerful beyond what you can even imagine. And the mind can create all kinds of things to get what they want. And I have a really, really powerful story about that. So if we ever do coaching or we're one-on-one, feel free to ask me that story. I'm happy to share. So, okay, you get all this stuff. It doesn't have to own your life. And that's the good part. And again, sometimes those winning formulas, they work very well in one area of our life, but they may not work in another area. So for me, I grew up in a family that we worked all the time. So I have a very strong work ethic. I can remember coming home, my mom coming home from the store at night, dumping all the change on the bed and wrapping it, and being this little tiny kid with these little fingers trying to figure out how to put the coins in there, and her showing me. And and I was teaching adults to count change in our store and doing employee training when I was 11 years old. So that work ethic is deeply, deeply instilled. It works for me in many areas of my life. I get a lot done. People say, "Oh, you're the Energizer Bunny," because I'm just always going, 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 going. I go, "Oh, I see this, and this needs to be done, that needs to be done." And the downside of that is I can run myself into the ground. I can create sickness. I can damage relationships because I'm always working. I'm always on. I'm in the middle of dinner with my husband and the phone rings and it's real estate and I'm like, gotta take this. So I don't set those healthy boundaries in work situations like I should. So I've had to work on that. That's one little slice of my the facets of my I don't want to call it personality, but just how I operate that I have chosen to work on because my relationships are extremely important to me. My family's extremely important, and I don't want to neglect that, and I want to get better at that so that I can improve those relationships. So the first step is awareness. And it's not fun. I mean, how do you become aware? Well, you can get a coach. Definitely, if you hire a coach, make sure that you get one that knows this stuff and that is going to support you. The other thing is you can listen to yourself. So a lot of times I'll have my coaching clients, go on Amazon, order a clicker. So you know what I mean by a clicker where it counts things. They use them like when people are coming into sporting events, they may click, all that they're counting, all the people that come through. That's a really good way because what happens is your mindset is revealed in your language. Language is huge with someone's mindset. I had a coach recently point out how often I said the word need. I need to do this and I need to do that and I need to do this. And I found it really interesting because here I've been coaching for years and coaching in real estate, and I'm a broker, and I'm constantly talking to agents, and all of a sudden I get this coach and she says, hey, you're saying the word need a lot. I did not catch it. I did not catch myself. So there's There's huge value in getting a coach that can give you some insight, and it's just little nuggets like that that are pointed out that you can go, wow, all of a sudden you have awareness. And awareness is amazing. It's the first step, but you do have to take action. So we have to talk about awareness though, because without awareness, you won't get anywhere, because you'll just keep doing the same thing. Just those programs will just run you every single day. They say that on average you have 68,000 thoughts a day, and that the majority of people have the same 68,000 thoughts every day. And the majority of those thoughts are negative, which is really crappy. So I want to, give you some tools. Tomorrow I want to talk about parenting, because I think there's so many amazing things that you can do with your kids to build these programs. And with everybody being home, it's a good practice for you and your mindset, as well as to teach and train your children so that they can be effective in their life. And I'm kind of excited about doing that. So I hope you are too. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have an amazing and safe day.